Look at that. Be a pretty good place to take it out. This is the best shed I've ever found. Are you recording?
Yeah.
I'm never bringing you back. Yeah, if you want to buy the ultimate raccoon bait, sweetie fish. All right, are you actually gonna video this?
I think so.
Are you recording?
Yeah.
I'm never bringing you back.
Why?
All right, so
Stuff you never had to explain before?
so we got a captor here, Mr. Possum. He is actually dead. He is not playing. We're gonna go ahead and take him out and chunk him in the woods. Last year when I was doing that, about split my whole head open and learned a valuable lesson about pouring on the high side of the tin as opposed to the low side, and that the tin don't give. Look at that. Be a pretty good place to take it out. That's a bunch of our poop. Oh wait, right there. Y'all might have been able to see corn all over the ground when I was weed eating. It's falling out on the bottom. Honestly, that's usually not like that. So we're running a experiment with that corrugated pipe to see if it'll keep the raccoons off. I'm a little worried that the deer aren't liking it, so we're gonna check the footage and see what's going on, because I'm okay with the raccoons eating it as long as the deer eat out of the feeder. I can't have the deer not eating out of the feeder, so we'll see what's going on with that. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. Thought it was a chopper. Just a plane. I was worried Lee was coming to take our bucks out. No, I'm just kidding. We ain't got to worry about that. Our bucks are too small. Oh my God, dude. Are you kidding me? Bro. I was just walking around hoping to find sheds. Oh my goodness. Let's go. That's a stud right there. Dang. That's amazing. I mean, I am stoked about that. Pretty sure this is a buck we call Casanova. This is the best shed I've ever found. I mean, we're killing it today. We are killing it. First shed of the year. Really pretty. Hopefully mainframe 10. Feeder that you guys have seen right over there. So it's awesome. I'm stoked. Hopefully we can find more of these today. I'm very excited about that. All right, so let's go. The 2 sheds I found today, that will translate to the best day of sheds, the best day of shed finding I've ever had in my life. So pretty. Stoked. We're going into our 3rd year with him as a name buck. We passed on him 2 years ago. We were hunting him last year. Beautiful deer. Maybe we can close the deal. I am probably from this trough, probably 75 yards. And, you know, all I was doing was I walked up the road bed, which y'all can see it all. I actually have it all on video. Walked up the road bed where I think I'd shown y'all a scrape. And then just kind of walked a trail, found that one big, more fresh scrape, and boom. I would guess less than 60 yards from the straw. So let's go. All right. No sheds. As you can clearly see, there was a shed right under me. Luckily, I found it later on, and then we made this amazing discovery when editing. No telling how many sheds I walk right past on a yearly basis, so take shed hunting advice from me at your own risk. We out. Rolling on. Just kidding. We found it. I mean, it's small. We're moving in the wrong direction, but she counts, baby. He obviously wasn't fit to the task that was set before him, but we're really on a hot streak. Best shed hunting day of my life. Just in case y'all forgot. Found 3 big sheds today. Nope, that's a lie. That's not what I meant to say. I found 3 sheds today. 1 big one. Y'all done caught me lying. Chris, cut all that out. So we had a customer ask for our 22% protein, 18% fat mix. We call it Grip Wild Plus, but they didn't want any corn. So I don't even know what this mix is. Probably pushing 50% combined protein and fat, but I got 1 bag of it. I mean, my goodness. Look at that. I don't want to speculate, but if I had to guess, this is what the good Lord feeds his deer in heaven. Look at where that goes. Yep. Oh. And we're down again. We're good, guys. Man, I shot a doe up here last year. In bow season. Man, I almost just broke my leg. During bow season, that ran down all the way down into the bottom here. I drug her about halfway, and there's a few times in my life where I've been more excited to see my dad than when he was coming down the hill. And then I knew I had help. Whew. That's I love hunting with my dad. The beauty is, man, I love these things. Cut you some 4-inch pipe buried in the ground after you skin a deer. There you go. That's not what I was going to talk about, but if you skin your own deer like us, I think they're pretty awesome. The beautiful thing is about a hunting club, there's always something to do. So even when, like, I'm barely putting feet out today, a couple bags. Even when you don't have like something specific, like I'm going down here to do this, we have to bush hog, we have to plant. There's something to do. Like, there's work to be done. There's work that I can do right now that if it doesn't get done, it's not going to get done. You can't go back and, you know, like feeding last week. You can't go back and feed in April once June and July rolls around. April's gone. Like these critical months, you have certain windows where they need certain things, certain opportunities to get work done. And if you're in a club with a bunch of guys that bust it and, you know, y'all are sort of collaborative, that's the way we are. That's amazing. And don't get out of that club. And if you're in a club where, you know, maybe you're doing the most work or you're trying to make a plan and getting it done, hey, I got bad news for you. Nobody's going to do it but you. So, yeah, just lay out a plan, make a list, everything you got to get done in the off season or want to get done in the off season, prioritize it and make it happen. I mean, that's the thing. Coming down here, I love coming down here. I love spending time in the outdoors. Love being out here. I love what it provides for people who are really close to me. You know, opportunities that maybe we wouldn't have had 5 to 10 years ago. So get out there, get after it. I mean, like I said, nobody's going to get the work done but you. So make it happen. On a separate but related note, no one's going to get the SD cards but you if you're out here, so don't forget them. The importance of the 87 degrees is I've got Chris here with me again, and he's got shorts. He doesn't want y'all to see him, but he's got shorts and tennis shoes on, and we have huge rattlesnakes on our property, so I'm just like, dude, you need to watch out. I'll try and protect you. I got a new shovel here today, but we in this spot, I think it was 2 years ago, we got a huge rattlesnake right over back in here, behind these trees. You can see the trough camera, and I'll show y'all, but we had a 3-legged doe that were surviving, and this rattlesnake was stalking this 3-legged doe. We'll put the pictures in there, but it's just amazing. We ended up killing the 3-legged doe, and I would love to run into the rattlesnake, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen today. So this, where'd it go? This right here is what we don't want to see. The old rounded edges. That's going to be a hog. Definitely not what we want. It's really not that I want to run into a bunch of snakes.
And I would love to run into the rattlesnake, but
either when I'm out here, just to clarify. Chris was hoping we found some. And I know some of y'all are like, man, don't worry about the snakes, just leave them, whatever. But I mean, I bring my niece and nephew out here. They're like 3 and 5, so if I run up on a rattlesnake, doing what we're doing out here, that rattlesnake is in a really bad spot. So I just relocate them. I'll relocate the one snake into 2 different places. I've heard guys talk about this before, and I do feel like it's accurate, but I want to be out here in March, April, May, June, July, September, when pressure is a lot lower, when deer have moved back to the patterns that are going to be exactly where they want to be, exactly what they want to be doing. They're doing it now because the pressure's so low. I want to be out here. I want my scent to be on the property as much as possible. I mean, if I can get here 3 times a month, you know, it's only a couple hour drive for me to get here and then a couple hours back. So if I can get to the property a few times a month to have my scent around, to get them sort of used to, that's a friendly smell. That's, you know, not like, I'm not trying to grow pets or anything, but it's just such a game of inches. It's such a, the challenge is not only how can you grow and hold big bucks, but how can you get that mature buck comfortable enough to step out where you are. You know, thousands of things have to go right for him to be in the general area of exactly where you are, and then to actually get him to step into a shooting window where, you know, where you can make a lethal shot on him. I mean, it's hard to do. So if me being here a few times a month gets them just a little bit more comfortable, it becomes not quite as, you know, threatening smell. Maybe that gets me 10 extra seconds with a deer. Maybe that gets me, you know, 5 to 8 steps. That can be the difference in not seeing an animal and seeing him. That can be the difference in seeing an animal and shooting him. So I do believe it plays a big role, like in just the sightings. I think so many times bucks will move to a point where they can see everything going on, to a point where, you know, they're downwind and they can smell what's going on, and we never see him. We just never, you never even knew he was there, and you were so close, but you'd never know it, you know. And I think every little bit of sort of tool or, you know, advantage, anything we can do to level the playing field with, especially these mature bucks, I'm willing to give it a shot. Also, if you're going to just aimlessly walk around and you don't know your property as well, I would encourage you to leave the side-by-side running wherever you park. Also a good idea when you're tracking deer. Leave the lights on, leave the side-by-side running. But, because I mean, I've gotten pretty lost tracking a deer before. It's easy to do. Me and another guy, Jason, we've hunted here our whole lives, and we got lost one night tracking a doe. So honestly, do not know what type tree this is, but they must like it. I'm sure somebody watching this will know. Go ahead and drop it below to educate the rest of us. Here's another one, older, right there. Just looking up the road bed. There's a big one. Right here. I do not know what kind of tree that is. Interesting. You get out here a couple months after season, and the deer will start to tell you where they actually want to be accessing places from, because they're going to change movement patterns and how they access different points in your property during the season. The more and more pressure there is. So you get out here a couple months after season and walk around a little bit, deer will start to tip their hand on how they actually want to be accessing different points in your property. And especially, it's going to be a place on your property where you're going to try and set up early bow season on them. Then you need to be taking notes, because they'll be moving those trails you see now as opposed to the trails you were seeing in, November, December, January. So if you're hunting in October, September, October, the intel you gain right now will help you kill more deer in that early bow season window. I'm not going to say it's ugly, but I hate to tell you it's, it would probably be beautiful to a lot of y'all. But, that's just because it's pines. They're growing and cutting pines. But y'all get it. They're my pines. So I love it. Green up will happen. And be a lot more nutrition readily available for them. And that also means pollen. So while the deer go into survival mode, January, February, I'm going into survival mode in April. We're basically feeding in here for Captain Ed, one of my buddies from Florida. He's a charter captain. He's killed 3 great bucks up here the last 2 years. So this is his spot. Not really. I joke about that. We're kind of different in the fact that we don't really have spots. We don't really hoard information. We're all kind of working towards the same goal, which is awesome, because then when one of us kills something, we all had part in that. And if that wasn't the case, it'd be tough to keep doing it. Like finding satisfaction in others, kind of sharing that success is huge, and makes it a lot more fun. Basically what it comes down to is turkeys are dumber animals, so you can't feed them when you're hunting them. I'm just kidding, sort of. They got a brain the size of a soybean. All right, I better stop. This is great. Nah, turkeys are geniuses, and they got great eyesight, and they, whatever. I'm just putting enough out today to kind of get some started, to kind of have it readily available once they start hitting them, because they really haven't hit our established sites a lot yet, but they will. So this is a spot I used to have the trough, one of the troughs we actually went to, but it's so tight. I really didn't get a lot of buck activity, because I think it's because the pines are planted so thick, and when they're growing their antlers, that velvet's so soft that they didn't want to be in here. I moved it down to the draw, got much better buck activity. But this is basically end result of what I am doing with that mineral. So I haven't touched this mineral site in probably 3 years, but it's still got the hole where it holds the water. It's still an active site. When it warms up a little bit, gets up into the 80s, closer to 90, they're gonna hammer this salt lick. And this is basically why I do it like that, because it just regenerates itself so well, because the rain it captures the rain and holds it and kind of reactivates that site every time. So that's why I do it like that, churning the dirt, making a little bowl basically for it. Even though it doesn't look like that right now, when it rains on it, it kind of sits that way. Then they dig it out, and that's the end result. So there you go. They're hammering them. Also, we're getting more and more reports back, and it sounds like they missed twice. So tough times at the deer camp tonight. Turkey camp. It's not a turkey camp, the deer camp. All right. I know I'm kind of, maybe you think I'm overreacting a little bit in some of these, but I mean, guys, absolutely wearing it out right here on this mineral lick. When you put something out and you do something that you think really can benefit your deer, and then you see a really positive response to it, that's good. All right, quit goofing off. I'm still putting off weed eating. These babies right here, those are the jackpot on our property. You find some white oaks that are raining, you will find deer. I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 18-ish, maybe 19, right back there, back to where we started. So, I mean, oh, I didn't even count this one. White oak right next to it. Almost 20 trees just standing right there, counting them. 20 white oaks, I should say. Almost 20 white oaks that are big enough to produce. They won't all produce every year, but you got good odds when you got 20 of them within bow range from where I was just standing, that you're gonna have some producers every year. We're at a different place now on our property than we were, you know, when we kind of started. Because, I mean, for me, when I started, you know, never had a lot of money. It was maxing out a credit card with what little bit you had from paying it down. You know, maybe that's 6 to 8 bags. I know that doesn't sound like much, but you know, back when I started doing this, I was really young. But maxing the cart out, getting enough feed to just run around, put half a bag here and there, corn, which I know I feel a certain way about corn now, but straight corn, half a bag here, there, everywhere. And it was much more about, you know, intel and who's on the property and what kind of deer are out here, what they look like from one year to the next. And then it moves more towards nutrition. You get to a point and, you know, you're just like, there's more to this than just feeding them. It's about, or there's more to it than getting pictures. I guess pictures were the most important part of what I was doing originally. And it moves more towards how can we put something out that'll actually benefit them? How can we put something out that, you know, is more of an investment than just the short-term, immediate gratification of trail cam pictures, which don't get me wrong, I love running trail cameras, but you know, during certain parts of the year, that's the least important aspect of what you're doing. One of the reasons I love being out here this time of year is just because hardly anybody else is feeding around us. And so it's kind of like cheating. I mean, if you're out here kind of, you know, working it, putting the work in when nobody else is, you're stealing deer, you're helping your herd when nobody else is helping theirs. And I mean, benefits are sort of endless. Effort is the biggest thing, you know, getting out there, making it happen. I mean, that could be 100 pounds a month. And you're not only helping the deer that get access to that, but you're stealing deer from properties around you, because chances are they aren't going to be making that effort, especially in these down months or in these months that are sort of around turkey season. People get scared, but I mean, feeding and worried they're going to get caught. But talk to your game warden, which I know what that entails. But if you can get in touch with your game warden, you know, ask them what they think about it. Tell them what this is if you're planning on turkey hunting around it. Tell them what y'all are working on and kind of how you're trying to emphasize feeding year round. And most of the time they'll tell you like, hey, as long as you're this far away from it, have at it. That's what they told us. So as always, we got that good scrumptious, that looks awesome, browse on these briars. Man, that is exciting. Food is the name of the game. You can hold basically an unlimited amount of deer if you get them access to food. Obviously, we didn't plant this, but I mean, there's some grass left on this green field. It's not overgrown yet, so they're still messing around with it, but look at all that. That is exciting. And I work for a deer feed company, but I will tell you a secret. It's going to cost you a lot less to plant some sort of spring food plot, whether it be clover or forage soybeans, and just from a tonnage standpoint, you're going to get way more out of that than any type of deer feed. I mean, you're gonna get a whole bunch of tonnage. Maybe, hopefully my boss doesn't see this, but you're gonna get a whole bunch more tonnage out of planting something than feeding. There's benefits to both for sure, but if you got to start somewhere and you got access to equipment, then I would start there and make a plan to work on feeding after that. But they both have a place. Deer just, especially during the growing months, I mean, they're going to consume 6 to 8% of their body weight in green foliage. And if you want to know how much 6 to 8 pounds of green foliage is, start picking up, get you a bucket, get you a 5-gallon bucket, and go outside and get you a bunch of green living leaves, grass, and then weigh it, and you'll be shocked how much 6 to 8% is, because if your does are 100 pounds, that's 6 to 8 pounds every single day of green foliage. If your bucks are 200 pounds, that's going to be 12 to 16 pounds of green foliage every single day. I mean, they can only eat so much grain, especially corn. They can only eat so much of that type stuff if you're putting it out. So, I mean, getting them access to something that is more along the lines of what they have to eat. They're going to be eating grass. They're going to be eating, all this stuff behind me, this, browse. And the more of that stuff they have access to, the healthier they'll get. And then eventually, the bigger they'll get. The more of that excess nutrition will go towards a buck's antlers instead of him having to pull minerals from, his actual skeletal structure. The more, the extra protein, extra fat will go to his antlers. And then just for your does, I mean, you're going to hear us talk a lot about your does, how it affects your fawns, and the easiest way to improve your oldest bucks. Well, maybe not the easiest, but the best way to do it is for it to happen slowly over time, and that starts with fawns. The healthier you can get your fawns those first 2 to 3 weeks of their life, if they got access to incredible milk, great nutrition, then you're going to start to see a difference in your, in your 2-3 year olds, and eventually your 4, 5, 6. The bucks are actually, trying to chase after. So this is why all of this stuff is exciting to me, because you can only feed so much. Feeding is you got to keep buying it. But if you can plant something to give them access to it, that's huge. And you're going to see massive benefits from that.
How do you make your property a go-to destination when it comes to minerals for your deer? And number one, I'd say use high-quality minerals. Not all deer minerals are created equal. A lot are just salt in a bag, and I use those. I mean, that is part of the equation, is the attractional element. I've put some of those out today. You can find some sort of balanced blend that has, especially your extra things like zinc, copper, manganese, selenium. Find those high quality minerals. Place the minerals in high traffic areas. The best locations for minerals are in high traffic deer areas, on established trails. I prefer shade, but I also see the benefit of doing it in a food plot so that you get deer comfortable walking into that food plot, that green field, in the off season, so that when the actual hunting season rolls around, they've been walking into that field and they're comfortable walking out there in the daytime. I'd say start as early as you can and stay consistent with it. If you can start before it gets hot or as it's warming up in early to mid-March and kind of stay consistent with it, stay on it whether it be 45 days, like 6 weeks. You can do it, every couple months, especially through spring and summer. You're going to really be able to get the adequate nutrition from a mineral standpoint to your deer. And I think it's a big investment into not only the current herd that you have, but especially down the road. I'd say refresh the sites regularly. Rain and soil absorption can diminish your mineral sites. They can kind of get them to where they've washed down and it's diluted them to where deer don't have the access to the minerals they had when you first put it out. So I would say just kind of stay on it. Like I said, I think every 6 weeks to 2 months is kind of a good time frame to get back out there and hit those sites again, just so that they're still getting that adequate mineral to the deer. And then pair minerals with nutrition. This is a huge thing for us. Obviously, I work for a deer feed company, so I'm a little bit biased, but minerals work best when they're a part of a nutritious diet. When you're getting high protein feed to your deer and they have the protein that they need and the mineral intake that they need to reach their genetic potential. What I'm trying to accomplish when I'm putting minerals out, when I'm putting feed out, is just to reach new heights, to reach new levels within my deer herd. And I never feel like I've wasted time putting minerals out, putting deer feed out. You see the benefit. You see the benefit down the road when it comes to antler growth, when it comes to, you and your buddies harvesting bucks that you never harvested before. So pair those minerals with nutrition so that they have a more balanced diet.
Here's 3 reasons why spring green up is huge for your deer herd. Number 1, bucks are running on reserves. After the rut, mature bucks can lose between 20 and 30% of their body weight. And without quality nutrition, recovery is going to be slower, growth can be stunted, and in some cases, survival even comes into play. Number 2, does need high protein and high fat in their diet to meet high energy demand of gestation. So pregnant does require optimal nutrition to support fawn development. A nutrient-poor spring can lead to low birth weights, weak fawns, or even fetal resorption. Number 3, your young deer are the most vulnerable. Yearlings and fawns from the previous year lack the fat reserves that your older deer have and are often outcompeted for food. Without enough nutrition, they face starvation, predation, and even disease. So spring green up isn't just about food availability though. It's a biological reset that replenishes deer at the most critical time of the year. It becomes what propels them into health in the years to come. The emergence of high protein forbs, lush browse, and regenerating food plots provides the first real opportunity for whitetails to rebuild their strength. Another reason spring green up is important is how epigenetic switches work in whitetail deer. So epigenetics refers to the changes in gene expression that are influenced by environmental factors, including nutrition, stress, and habitat conditions. Majority of a whitetail deer's genetic makeup is inherited. Certain genes can be activated or suppressed based on external conditions, especially during fetal development. Basically, the potential ceiling for your bucks can be raised or lowered by these switches being turned on or off. So if a doe receives a high nutrition environment, she activates genes that lead to larger, stronger bucks, more efficient antler growth pathways, so bigger racks, and then better immune function and survival rates. Here's 3 things you can do to get the most out of the spring green up on your property. Number 1, increase mineral availability. Minerals like calcium, phosphorus, manganese, copper, and selenium are critical for fawn development and milk production. So the more you can get your herd access to quality minerals, the better outcomes you will see in your deer. Number 2, enhance habitat for natural forage. You need to be promoting the native browse. You need to be planting early green up food plots if you can, and then you need to be managing the timber as much as possible to maximize high protein food sources for your deer herd. Number 3, provide high quality supplemental feed. Even though natural forage is appearing and in some cases at an all-time high during this window, spring food plots and supplemental feed help ensure consistent high energy nutrition for your pregnant does and your bucks that are growing antlers. You'll see that. Top of the hill right here. Actually, this is the exact spot right here that we were chatting about our game plan with the turkeys in that kind of a parody video we posted. But we got a trough down in that field, but I haven't been feeding it because the guys want to hunt in there. But I kind of topped the hill, just kind of going down the road, and I saw him blown up down in the field. So, I don't know. Hopefully y'all can see that on the video. If not, I'm just going to look like a moron, even more of a moron than I already am.